chapter 6. This is lesson 6.1, and we're on page 319. I will just start out by saying chapter 6 is not my favorite at all. It's converting measurements, and I would say like these three, way super important. You need to know that in your life, okay? But these over here, this is the metric system, and unless you live in another country, you don't use this very much. You use this one, centimeters. Sometimes you use millimeters if you're talking about really small things, but we don't use this very often, so that's why I find it a struggle to teach. But I will try and help you do the best I can. So, this is already in your book. This and all of its converging like measurements is on page 315. And if you want to write that in your notes so you have it, and so when you take your test and you're able to use your notes, I would write all of that down. It's in like the top right corner of page 315. And then this one is on top of page 316. Okay? These are the two notes that you need to write down that are way super important. If you're going from large to small, I don't know why there's not space in between there. So let's say that you're going from a mile down to feet, then you need to multiply the number will be larger. So if you're going from large to small, I know you would think that the number would be smaller, but it's not. It's the opposite. The number will be larger. Okay? And if you're working on the metric system, you need to move the decimal to the right. Okay? You won't do this one if you're working with the mile, yard, foot, and inch. You'll do it only when you're working on the metric system. Okay? This is a super, super, super important note. Okay? I'm going to write the other note. It's almost identical to this, but it's just opposite. If you're going from a small number or a small unit to a large unit, then you need to divide. Okay, the number will be smaller. Okay, and move the decimal to the left. I am going to get some magnets, and it will help us out a little bit if you want to get like a marker of some kind, such as like a penny or a dime. It will help you out too. We're doing problem number 2, and problem number 2 says 2,350 meters is equal to how many kilometers? Reason why I have these magnets. First I have the meter, and then I have the kilometer. Okay? I went from small to big. So, following my notes, small to big. Okay? Move the decimal to the left. Okay, I went from small to big. Now we have to count how many jumps that took. 1, 2, 3. Okay, so I will be moving my decimal to the left, that's this direction, 3 places. 1, 2, 3. So there are 2.35 kilometers. That would be equal. Okay, see how it was just a moving of the decimal? When I'm talking about a decimal, I don't need to have a 0 at the end. If you leave the 0 at the end, it's not wrong. Okay? Now, we are doing number 5. No, this was problem number 2 in the book. Problem number 5. This one is challenging, and you will need that chart that you found on page 315. 5 miles is equal to how many yards? Okay. I'm going to go back and I'm going to look at page 315. So in the book it says 1,760 yards, that's 1 mile. But we want 5 miles, so we need to multiply that by 5. So that's 1 mile, we need 5 miles. 5 times 0, 5 times 6 is 30. 5 times 7, 35, 38. 5 times 1, 8. 8,800 yards. We went from a big unit down to a small unit. We went from a big unit down to a small unit, and it said my number would be larger. Did we get a larger number? 5 all the way up to 8,000. We got larger. That was good. Okay. Now we are doing problem number 6. And problem number 6 in your book says 35 millimeters is equal to how many centimeters? So I'm going to use my markers again and erase my jumps from last time. So I'm starting at millimeters and I'm getting larger to centimeters. I'm going to go check my thing. I'm starting with a small and I'm going to a larger unit. When I do that, I need to move my decimal to the left. How many places do I need to move it to the left? I jumped 1 place. Start with the invisible decimal at the end and move 1 place. 3.5 centimeters. I'm going to double check from I went to a small to a larger unit. The number will be smaller. I started off with 35 and I went all the way down to a 3.5. So my number was smaller. Perfect. Okay, now we're working on your worksheet. All you have to do is 1, 2, 3, and 4 on the front. I was gonna have you do the back, but it gives you completely different measurements. If you want to do the back and you want to get good practice of just like moving your decimal back and forth, do it. Be amazing, okay? But what is required is the front. Good luck with today. Have an amazing day. See you later.